get easier. Ooh, child, it's gonna get brighter. Oh, they will. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, gonna get brighter. Someday we will put it together, get it all done. Someday when your head is much lighter, much lighter. Oh, someday we will walk in the rays of the beautiful sun. Someday when this world is much brighter. Oh, child, things are gonna get easier. Child, they're gonna get brighter. Child, you know things are gonna get easier. Oh, child, you know they get brighter. Oh, yeah. Someday we will put it together, get it all done. On Sunday when your head is much lighter. Someday, oh, we will walk in the rays of the beautiful sun. Someday, oh, when this world is much brighter. Get it all done. Oh, someday when your head much lighter, much lighter. Oh, 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 oh. Someday we will walk in the rays of the beautiful sun. Oh, Why don't we start right now? Why don't we start right? Oh, why don't we start right now? Oh, this is the right time. Oh, right now. Oh,
Oh, an inspired morning with Dwight Tribble and his haiku for peace and the beauty of his inspiration. Ooh, child. It will get much brighter, but we're going to have to do what we have to do in order to make that happen. I have such wonderful guests in the studio with me. I'm so proud. I cannot begin to tell you, but I got to play this little something in honor of this holiday time. You know, its origins in Egypt land, in Tom Mary, and we need to remember that. So I offer you a little something from Charles Tolliver called On the Nile. Yes, family. Well, now that we've kind of settled in for a moment, almost half hour into the top of Gardens of Tranquility and Contemplation, I get to introduce you to some of the most beautiful people on the planet. I am so pleased and I am so honored to bring Queen Nankuleleku, Queen Mother. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my sister.
How are you?
I'm good.
Oh my goodness. And
Here.
also a graduate of City College.
Class of 73.
Oh my goodness gracious. And our young Queen Mother, Sister Deviar. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, very, very pleased and honored to have you all here with
Thank
me.
you.
It is just such a joy to share this, vibration with you and, and kind of place ourselves on the Nile.
Mhm.
Always in the know.
Always, and enjoy a little terra incognita with Imani Winds also, which is the song is by Wayne Shorter, so it's very special to have them performing, and that'll be kind of our background for our conversation. And Sister Nankuleleku, I can't believe we go back 40 years.
40 years.
Good Lord.
Yes.
And that was because you were in midwifery then.
No, I was not. I was a nurse.
Oh, is that
I'm
what it
still
was?
a nurse.
Okay.
And I think you were inspirational. You and the other young mothers.
We were young mothers.
Young mothers were inspirational to me and wanted to become a midwife.
Is that right? What was that inspiration that touched you? What did it tell
well, at that
you?
time, the program that I worked for was under the Urban League, and it was the adolescent maternity program. And I was a health educator. We made home visits, and postpartally I did childbirth classes. But what was missing to me was not seeing what happened to the mothers when they went into the hospital. That part I couldn't seem to get a feel for. And so I became interested in women, and I grew to love women during that period of time. Because that first day or two at that job, I didn't know anything about teenagers, adolescents, and I was a little terrified. What am I going to do? But after really getting into it, it was really a what they say, just
Metamorphosis.
an experience that led me to another path. To the path of my life in terms of midwifery, which was not something that I was priorly interested in. I thought maternal health was very boring. They weren't sick, blah. But it's a whole world, and that's what I got to know in terms of what my love is midwifery. But working with you and the other young mothers made me.
And my dear friend at the time, she was having a baby also, Hafisa. Hafisa, and of course we had our slave names at that time.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
it was a long time ago.
We won't go there.
We won't go there. But it was an experience, It was an experience, and it set the stage for seeing what we could do to achieve our aspirations for ourselves and our children, mostly for our children. The focus shifted. I know I had been an artist, for over a decade. And, I would set up my easel at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would, plot my canvas. And I loved my Grumbacher colors and my crepas and charcoal and my art classes. And I would take some of the great music that my family introduced me to at home, I would take it to school and play it in my art studies. You know, it was just, you know, it was interesting. I was very happy in my head and in my art, just like you see me experiencing this great music.
Yes, I see you.
You know, in here now, having a party.
Yes, I see you. You know, when I took that job, I realized I was in the process of trying to get to Africa. Even then, one of my goals in finishing nursing school was to I thought I would be in the battlefield. You know, the revolution, that sort of
Yes,
thing.
ma'am.
And one of my goals was to get to Africa. And I had been in the process of writing letters to some of the embassies in terms of going to Africa. And when I took that job, I thought to myself that I might not get to Africa right now.
You had that realization.
You know how you have these little epiphanies?
Yes.
And maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to take this job, that sort of thing. But it's still not too late.
It is not.
No, my goal is to get to Africa. Well, I've been there, but my goal is to get there to live.
Have you been to South Africa?
No, I've been to East and West Africa, but not South Africa yet.
Okay, okay. And Devior, you were in Ethiopia.
I was in Ethiopia 2 weeks ago.
I love it. How is it? What was it like? And
Well, it's my fourth time going. The first time, a family. I taught at a school in East Harlem, Central Park East 2. I was the music teacher there.
is that right?
Yes.
Oh,
For 15 years.
for 15 years.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
And so there was an Ethiopian family who invited me to visit Ethiopia.
Oh, very nice.
And so that was 3 years ago. And I have a nonprofit organization, Speaking in Rhythms, and we have these cultural exchange programs. So we were organizing an exchange program in Ethiopia.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce both of you to the International Youth Leadership Institute. And in fact, your daughters, Nankulaleku,
They told me.
they did. They explained that I met them at IYLI. You know, twin daughters, brilliant participants in a cultural exchange program that's so important. And that's, you know, Devior and I were talking about an Islamic passage, a Quranic passage that explains to you that this is a spacious earth and that you don't have to stay in one place of oppression.
Right.
Yeah.
One place of oppression.
That's right. You don't have to stay, you know,
That's
under
right.
the rocks.
That's right. In the
under
belly of the beast.
In the belly of the beast.
Right.
This is a spacious earth.
Right.
And we have to explore it.
We have to explore it, and we have to understand that we have the guidance of the Most High. And so when we take action and we believe that we have, there are other existences or there are other realities, and we can have a quality of life, then we seek it, and the opportunities come.
That's right.
Under divine guidance.
That's right.
And so we don't have to experience the things that we experienced that created a mindset.
Right.
You know, so living here created a mindset in which we have to constantly be on guard and have this heavy armor, you know, for survival and also for protection. We don't have to live like that. It's a heavy load.
It is a heavy load. It really it is something, you know. And I do believe in the transformation.
Yes.
You know, I believe in the transformation that we commit ourselves to in this society, and we've been doing the work all along. You know, I think that's why the Civil War. And ever since then, over 100 years ago, we've still been in the struggle.
Right.
You know, to bring about real democracy, to honor our humanity, to have full expression of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
You know, and I think we have to roll up our sleeves and fight like hell for it.
But it's also it's a global journey. It doesn't have to happen here, and so you go out and you become a real member of the global community, and hopefully you inspire people who are here who do not think that they can be a member, or they do not think that they are members of a global community. You inspire them to venture out.
That's Nakulaleku. I tell you, that's it. That's it. Who it is that we are here as African American people, and the struggles and the accomplishments, the triumphs, and the spiritual consciousness that we are, especially who we are. We have to take that everywhere with us.
Oh, definitely so. I was in Somaliland from March until about August of this year, doing some volunteer midwifery work there, and it was like going home. Well, it is going home, and they would ask me, well, what part of Africa are you from? And I would tell them I might say I'm from Senegal today, or I might say I'm from Ethiopia tomorrow, which I'm not, but I would just I would let them know that I'm from all parts of Africa.
Right. Oh,
and they would
wow.
hesitate, and they would say, but what's your nationality? I'm an African. And finally, we would all click together, and they would feel comfortable. You're right, sis. That's right. Yeah, we're all together. We're all one person. So you saw this on the ground level a lot, that people were really moving towards what Nkrumah and Patrice Lumumba and Sekou Touré and Kwame Touré were trying to have a United States of Africa.
Yes.
So it's there's rumbling. There's a buzz out there.
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
people
But you know
respect this.
what I think just opened for me through Devio's observation is that armor that we take on, that struggle that we have here. Well, we're going to encounter something similar, striving for democracy anywhere.
Right.
And we've got to take our determination, our ethic, our spirit, of especially who we are, everywhere we go, and stand for justice, equality, because even when we go home, we go to the motherland, we're still going to have to strive for women's rights, for equal education, for end to discrimination, for transparency instead of corruption, for unity above nationality.
Exactly. And so as one travels, though, one travels with the mindset of representing. And so you get this sense of being appreciated and a sense of purpose. That was one of my loves, Nia. You get that sense of Nia, purpose,
Yes.
that I'm doing something.
Yes.
And don't think we were not busy. We were busy from morning until night, so tired that you could barely put your leg in the bed at night. But yet it was a sense of true, just a sense of purpose that I'm trying to get that same experience here. And I do, but it was just so wholesome.
Oh,
in
really?
In a way, yes.
Yes. And what about the sisterhood? The sense, the strengthening from, one sister to the next, to you, and from you to them.
The sisterhood in, I can talk more about Somaliland because it's most recent. It's really profound watching women giving birth, sometimes not understanding what they were saying, but birth is has a universal language to it. So you know to tell the mother when to push or to rub her shoulder, or the eye-to-eye contact, and so it's there. And the sense of sisterhood there, to me, is profound, because that mother comes in with her sisters, her auntie, her mama, grandmother. They all come together, and they stay with that mother. And then from there they go to the afterbirth unit, and they stay with that woman. So they have a very tight family structure there, and that woman is cared for 40 days. She doesn't do anything but take care of that baby.
Really?
So you sort of see a greater sense of familyness that's maintained. The respect that I see for the mother and the father is really profound. I really was able to see that. Adults or young adults don't live on their own. Like here, you're 18 or 19, you want to be on your own, get your own apartment, blah blah blah. But there they don't. They don't leave their homes and their family home until they're there to marry. Both brothers and sisters, young brothers and sisters, and then they go to their second home. But prior to that, they're home with their parents, their mother, their dad, or father,
and with
so,
the
clan,
values of the family.
the values of the family. It's profound.
Yes, indeed. Devi, I know you experienced something similar in Ethiopia.
Yes. Right now, I also experience it in Abu Dhabi, because that's where I'm teaching music at now. And
I'm so impressed. I'm so excited. You know, my friends, Greg Jewell and his wife, Rabia, you know, they moved to Saudi. And, you know, here you have moved to Abu Dhabi. I'm like, okay. This is telling me something, you know.
I mean, it's a wonderful location because it places you right there in Africa. So that's why I can travel to Ethiopia more frequently than if I were to travel here, because it's only a 3.5 flight.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my
It's
God.
right there. So, and so you talked about this concept, the home, right? So I left home here to move to a new home, right? And so Abu Dhabi is my new home, right? But then I have to go to Ethiopia to feel like home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I have a whole group of people, new family members who welcome me. You know, so when I get homesick, you know, instead of coming to New York, I go to Ethiopia to get that feeling of home.
You know, our students with IYLI have gone to Ethiopia on more than one occasion. And they get there and they're welcomed, and then the next thing they know, they're being invited to a wedding.
Yeah.
You know, everybody come, you know, everybody come and dance, come and eat, come to our home, come be a part of, you know, and these beautiful children, you know, just go and enter another life and have a new family. Very, very exciting. It's very exciting. And, you know, this is our hope and prayer. I wonder what it's like. Can't wait to find out.
Yeah. Well, you have the opportunity to do it.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Look at
so
that.
there are plenty of resources out there and
That's
great
right.
opportunities for you to make that happen.
Now, talk a little bit. Say your website.
My website for Speaking in Rhythms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's international, too.
Right, that's international. Yeah, we've traveled to different countries and participated in different cultural exchange programs. So that website would be www.speakinginrhythms. That's SPEAKINRHYTHMS. .org. But I wanted to bring this back to my mother,
Yes.
my love, and
Yes.
so a lot of people are surprised that I moved. They're like, "Oh, you moved, to Abu Dhabi." A lot of people are, I don't know, inspired, I don't know the word, that I created this nonprofit organization. But what gives you the will and the drive and the vision to do these things? And so it started with my mother. Being a vendor on 125th Street for over 40 years.
Wow.
And so I remember the first time when she went out that made that decision. I was in first grade. I went to Harriet Tubman School, PS 154 in Harlem. And so I remember, because I remember I was in Miss Roach's class, right? So that was my first grade teacher. And I remember going to 125th Street after school the first time. And so I don't know, I can't remember what I thought about it, but I knew that, okay, I'm out here in the streets. And my mother's selling, this merchandise. It was new because that's not what she was doing before. So I don't know what made her make the decision to become a vendor on 125th Street, because she was working. She was working at a hospital.
She was working at Lincoln Hospital for about 11 years, but she was also...
what was she working in Lincoln Hospital?
She was working in the emergency room as a clerk.
Okay. Okay. Now, but first, we should mention her name. We should, express to the family, introduce her to the family, bring her and welcome her here into the gardens of tranquility and contemplation.
Yes.
My love, Margie Rainey, passed on December the 3rd of this year. She was she was so many things in one person, and she was like all the experiences that one could have in one person. She was my sister, or she is my sister, was my sister.
Yes, she is.
I'm the last one of my sisters and brothers.
How many?
There were four of us.
Okay.
There were four of us.
Yes.
And but as a child, way back in the day, it wasn't popular to be deemed as African or to be associated with Africa. We were taught that Africa was jungles and cannibalism and running through the jungles and stuff like that. But so as young people, with Margie particularly, because she was of a darker hue, you weren't allowed to wear
bright colors.
Bright colors. No. I remember her wearing dark browns and colors that were darker in that sense, or the size of our lips or our nose and what have you. But after Emmett Till was murdered, there was a mass epiphany across the country.
Around the world.
Around the world. None of us knew who we were, but somehow or another, we became interested in that African identity, that we were somebody, and that Africa was beautiful, and black was beautiful. So at a young age, Margie must have been about 20. She got involved with the African Nationalist Pioneer Movement under Carlos Cook.
Is that right?
Elambe Brath was a member.
I remember Elambe talking about Carlos Cook and the organization all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
So she was an ardent member. So through that, buy black, self-reliance.
These were the teachings of the African Nationalist Pioneer Movement.
Exactly.
And the teachings, the fundamental teachings of African cultures and families.
Exactly.
African nations and Africans in the diaspora about self-reliance. Yes, these are fundamental teachings about life.
Exactly. So she was really an ardent member and a staunch supporter of Marcus Garvey.
Yes.
Of his teachings, the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey. So throughout her life, and I know towards the latter part of her life, when she started customizing her own T-shirts, and where Marcus Garvey talks about the fact that we have to put away our hero worship of other races
Mm-hmm.
and emulate heroes of our own. She developed her own line of African-inspired T-shirts, African heroes and she heroes in our community. And she was a staunch Makala woman, a market woman. You couldn't find a better hustler. She was the mother of all those vendors out there. She was an entrepreneurial icon.
Wow.
My love out there. So that's sort of where she became interested in terms of wanting to go out on her own. So she quit her job. She quit that job, and started, as you say, in the first grade over 40 years ago. She was out there selling her wares.
Isn't that something? That's incredible.
She's a true hustler.
Yeah.
That was one of the sojourns that I would take from our house every Saturday in Harlem to 125th Street. You know, we would go there. That was going to the African market.
Yes. That's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like.
Oh, that's what it felt like.
Right.
Yeah. And then I had the pleasure of often on the corner of 8th Avenue and 125th Street to see June Terry come many times. You know, she had this black afro with this widow's peak and this African, you know, attire and this dignity. And I would look up at her and I said, I'm going to wear my hair just like that.
Yes.
I never realized that I would actually meet June Terry, you know, and get my little 45s from the record shack.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, what an experience.
Yeah.
So then this is your mom.
Right. And
My
so,
love.
and I was out there. So I'd spent my childhood out there, you know, with her.
Learning the ways of the market.
Learning the ways of the market, learning the ways of the street.
Yes.
Learning how to deal with the seasons.
Yes.
You know, fall, winter, spring, summer. Each one had its challenges. I think the winter was the worst, but being out there, learning or seeing how, because she was one of the few women who were out there, you know, in a male-dominated space.
That's right.
And so and we talked about armor, and she had to be hardcore out there to deal with these men.
I know it. It's the truth.
So she had to dismiss her femininity. She had to hardcore. She had to, you know, deal with these men out there.
Isn't that
That's what
something?
the Makala woman does.
Right.
Wow.
That market woman does.
So you see, family, this is why next week we're going to continue this conversation and this tribute to my love.
Yes.
And, you know, just bring a sense of who it is that we really are in the facing of these challenges, our heroic selves, you know.
That's right.
Oh, it's such I cannot believe what a privilege this is to be able to share with you and to bring some music to it. And you all are going to stay with me. And, my God, I can't honor your mother enough.
Right.
I can't thank you enough for visiting and bringing all of these experiences. Nankululeko, I mean, words defy me as to, you know, your great African womanness and love of all of us.
Yeah.
You know, you really love us. And you're welcome. Yeah. We've known that. We know that, and we are very appreciative.
Yes.
Very
Could we
appreciative.
add that there's going to be a tribute
In January 3rd.
Right.
a salute to my love, to an icon.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, she was so many things to so many people. She was a confidante, you got to be a social worker out there.
Yes.
On those streets.
Oh, look at that.
I mean, she went and got her. Margie, my love, Well, at one point, she was a drug abuser at one point,
Mm-hmm.
substance abuser rather. But she turned that, she was a transformative type of person.
Yeah.
And she turned that around and got her master's degree
Ah,
in psychology. I think it was, or social psychology. And she never, she always demanded respect. She never, she never, she was a very principled sister.
Yes.
She was truly. The more I think about her, I have to I smile at, and she was funny. She was a comedian too. She was a comedian, an all-out comedian. So you had to like her. Sometimes you didn't like her because she was so blunt and her spirit was so free. And I demand respect regardless. I don't care what you say or how you say it. But she had to be that way out in those streets with those men.
that's it. That's
She
the
was
truth.
the president of the Merchants Association.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Wow, what a legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, we got stuff to talk about that's
Yeah.
just absolutely
yes.
Sister Devior and Queen Mother Nan Kulaleku and our ancestor, my love.
Ancestor, my love.
Ancestor, my
She
love.
has passed.
Queen, she's with us.
Yes.
You know, but she's with us in a larger way than
Yes.
ever before.
Yeah.
Than ever before.
Oh my goodness. And you know, so we
Yeah.
give her flowers and we give her candle and we give her light and we give her all the words of love
Yes.
and thankfulness, you know, for, you know, just as I thank you all for being here this morning. But I'll bring the music up. I'm going to bring a special guest in. And, you know, you all are so special to me.
Thank you.
You got to stay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
on the Nile where the Christ was constructed. Yes, indeed. So at this time when we recognize a birth and the dignity of the Christ child, the Christ consciousness, goodness and mercy and things of that nature, we think of us on the Nile. And before that, a beautiful song from my special guest, Fate in a Pleasant Mood, written by Sun Ra and performed with a wonderful CD, an homage to Sun Ra by Dick Griffin. And we'll be speaking to him momentarily. I want to give my sisters an opportunity to talk about this tribute that's going to be happening for Ma Love. So January 3rd, we're talking about an extraordinary woman, and Nan Kulileku, you and Devio are coming back next Saturday morning to continue this conversation about our transformation.
Of course, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What a privilege. But we should notify the family that there is going to be a special tribute to your mom, my love.
We're calling it a salute, right?
Yes.
In honor of this iconic figure. It's going to be Saturday, January 3rd, 2014, of course.
15.
Oh, 15. Oh,
Yeah, we have moved on.
15. Wow, that's amazing.
It is.
So it's going to be at Melba's 125.
Oh.
The third floor ballroom, which is located at the Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State Office Building.
Okay.
The time 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. There are going to be guest speakers, great performances, video montage, food.
We want the family to come out
Yeah.
and celebrate this my love, this
Yes.
this mother of all vendors. I
This-
hope you
this-
come too,
this-
Mr. Griffith. Brother Griffith, I hope you come.
January 3rd.
Yeah, I'll be leaving for Las Vegas
Oh.
that day. Visit my son.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
otherwise I would be there.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, thank you. Very beautiful.
But we're also asking people to RSVP because the space is limited, right?
That's
the
true.
capacity.
Okay.
And so people can RSVP via phone. We have two numbers. The first number is 718-308-1713. You can also call 917-749-0963.
And so you have to give those numbers again.
Okay, the first number is 718-308-1713. And the other number is 917-749-0963. And then you can RSVP via email. And the email address is maluv@gmail.com. Maluv is spelled MALUVRSVP@gmail.com.
How did she ever get that name, my love?
Margie gave
Margie.
herself her name
Did she?
because that's what she was. I guess she saw the love that she did so many things. She sold food, she sold T-shirts, she sold various types of merchandise.
She's an activist.
She was a serious
volunteer,
activist.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You know.
But I mean, as an entrepreneur, that is an honorable endeavor. It is a necessary one too.
Mhm.
It is really necessary for us to take our business seriously and to do it. And, I've got 3 entrepreneurs here with me.
Right.
Wow. You all are amazing.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
I just want to mention also, because it's the Harlem State Office Building,
Yes.
they require people to bring ID.
That's right. It's always a good reminder. Just like when you come here,
Right,
know,
that's right.
I have to often remember that's Bring your ID.
My own alma mater.
Bring the ID. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And Devio, your alma mater.
Yeah, I
too.
graduated here as well.
Oh, isn't that something?
1999.
If
Wow.
you don't know me by now, you never know.
I mean, once upon a time, I just could walk through without ID. Like, oh, DVR is here.
That's right. The 9/11,
never
you know. Oh, you all are just so sweet, so wonderful. This is, today's it's kind of like a special holiday gift, and you all the gifts
Thank
for
you.
me and our listeners, the family.
Well, we appreciate you even having us here, inviting us
thank
here.
you.
It's a great honor. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It's true.
Oh my goodness gracious.
you.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really great. I can't tell you how moved I am, but I want to play a great piece of music written by Dick and Dick Griffin. Welcome here. Welcome to the Gardens of Tranquility and Contemplation.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. So always so good to see you.
Yes, always.
Always, indeed.
Yeah.
And you have this marvelous homage to Sun Ra.
Yeah.
And Sun Ra is this extraordinary figure in the life of our music and our imagination and, just our history. I love the way he took that spacious ground and he moved to an interplanetary state of consciousness.
Yeah.
And there's a deep aspect of reality to it. I mean, you just take the Dogon of Mali, for example, and their ability to trace an invisible star. And then the Europeans found Sirius B hundreds of years later.
Yes. Yes.
And then
Yeah.
confirmed that so there is something to our relationship on an interplanetary level. And how many years did you play with Sun Ra?
I started in 1960.
Wow.
Well, yeah. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. So every summer I would visit Chicago, when I was in school, and I met Sun Ra in the Persian Ballroom one afternoon around 2:30 or something in the afternoon. So I'm walking around and I heard this live music because my aunt that I was living with wouldn't let me go out in the streets that much and at night in Chicago, and she was rightfully so,
Yes.
this young innocent kid from Mississippi wouldn't know how to handle Chicago rough streets and the gangs and whatever. But anyway, I'm walking around during the day and I heard this live music. So naturally, I'm a musician. I play piano and trombone, and I was aspiring to be a jazz pianist and a trombonist. And I walked in and there was Sun Ra. And his band, he had John Gilmore, Marshall Allen, Pat Patrick, and Ronnie Borkins, and I'm not sure of the drummer and the trumpet player at the time. But I was just listening, and he said, oh, you're a musician? I said, yes. I play trombone. He said, bring your instrument and come tomorrow to practice. Just that simple.
As simple as that.
Yeah, and I was there every day, all day, and we would practice maybe all day, and next thing you know, we playing a gig because we were gigging in the same place that we were rehearsing. So we went like, okay, now we're gonna play the gig. So he was quite an inspiration to me.
That's so beautiful.
I would say Rahsaan Roland Kirk and Sun Ra are probably the two major influences in my life. And I had the pleasure of performing with Charles Mingus, and he became a very strong musical influence in my life. So.
And in the lives of our musical idiom known as jazz.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how long. And I haven't performed with the orchestra in a while, but every so often they call me to.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So
I
still with the
still
orchestra, huh?
I still perform with them, yeah.
And it's spelled like an arc.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes.
Yeah.
not Kulaleku. You know something about the Sun Ra experience.
Yes, as I'm looking at Mr. Dick
Griffith, yes.
Griffith, I'm thinking about Sun Ra's wife, who was a midwife,
Yeah.
Barbara Jackson,
Oh.
and so that's what that's what I'm doing right now is just thinking of Sun Ra and Barbara Jackson, who was another midwife activist.
Was she located in New York? Was she
She
based?
was in the South. She was in Jackson, Mississippi.
She traveled.
She did travel. So they had 4 children, and so I'm just thinking, I wish I could see their children.
Yeah.
It's been so many years. She passed in '89.
Oh.
So it's been so many years since I've last been connected in that sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
to him
this
and
is
her.
probably a different person you're speaking of, because Sun Ra, he didn't have any children, and I don't think he was ever married. But this guy is from Birmingham, Alabama, and his name was Sonny Blunt. So he actually came up. He was born in. He would have been 100 years old now. Born in 1914, and yeah, he came up with the Alabama musicians like Erskine Hawkins and all of those people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right.
then he moved to Chicago and he started to play at the Club de Lisa and all those things. He played piano. So the guy who Avery, I'm going blank, but the guy who wrote After Hours, they were really so-called colleagues and friends, and David Parrish, I think his name was. So, but after he went to Chicago, started to play with all the early swing bands and played at, I think he was in the house band of the Club de Lisa. He kind of branched off and started his own orchestra, and that's when I met him around in the early, I think, around the 50s, and he Marshall Allen has been with him, I think, since '56, and Charles Davis, another saxophone, has been with him since that time. I think Marshall Allen was
Maybe
there
that's
before
somebody else.
Charles, or around the same time, but Charles Davis still performs with the orchestra.
Oh.
So-
And Marshall
Okay.
Allen performs with you.
Yeah, Marshall Allen is on my CD, but Marshall Allen is now the musical director of Sun Ra.
Oh.
So, yeah, he was quite. How can I say it? When I met him at the club, I'm going blank now.
Persian Room?
Persian Lounge.
Persian
was-
Lounge.
He was always reading stuff. He was always studying, and he was
What was he reading?
all kinds of books about ancient history. He would read comic books. He was thinking outside of the box at that time. He would see these things like with people, flying into space, and he was actually deeply involved in that kind of mythology and stuff. He would read all the time. Every time I saw him, he was even reading, studying something, and his compositions was all about space. And I remember clearly, because I think in '58 or '57, the first satellite, first rocket went to outer space was Sputnik. The Russians sent up
yes.
and at that time in high school we had a group called the Sputniks because we heard this name. It was so unique.
Yeah.
And we had these doo-wop groups called the Drifters and the Clovers and the Spaniards and all that. So we call ourselves the Sputniks. And we was invited to go on the road with Sam Cooke because we were just
Really?
that good. They offered our group, and I was in the 11th grade at the time.
Wow.
So, but that's what kind of stuff the Sun Ra was into. He was into all this outer space stuff. He believed that men would be, like he's predicting now, men will be traveling to space. He predicted that. And the song Interplanetary is about that. You know, going from planet to planet. There's a song someone wrote, we travel the spaceways from planet to planet.
You know, I believe that he, in his studies of this interplanetary travel,
Right?
deeply believed in the philosophy, in the foundation, and he may have been an intuitive recipient of information from another realm, whether it's ancestors or angels or others, that informed him about the truth of the matter, the reality of it. And so he's, you know, an earthling like us, privileged to bring awareness of this other consciousness, this other this philosophy that we are not alone.
He wrote a lot of songs like Rocket Number 9 taking off for the planet Jupiter. Jupiter. You know, Rocket Number 9 taking off for the planet Jupiter. Jupiter. Second stop is Jupiter. You know. This guy was and he predicted what happened. He was there, and when I met him, talking about that, he wrote those songs. That song, Interplanetary, was
Yes.
written, I think, in the maybe 59 or 60, but it's very early.
So
I mean, he was.
maybe we should play that.
You've already played Interplanetary. You opened it up, right?
No, I opened up
my
with
song
Fate.
that I'm singing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Interplanetary, you know.
Okay.
Interplanetary music. Interplanetary music. Interplanetary melody. Interplanetary harmony. Interplanetary
interplanetary music, interplanetary, interplanetary music, interplanetary melody, interplanetary harmony, interplanetary, interplanetary, interplanetary music, interplanetary music.
We have to.
Oh, thank you so much.
That
Thank
was
you very much.
the voice of Dick Griffin on his homage to Sun Ra. This is a new release for you. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it just came out. Yeah.
Just came out, and I get to play it here in the gardens of tranquility and contemplation.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Very, very excited, and you can tell me a little something about this great song too. And here you are, you're on trombone and vocals. Marshall Allen's on the alto sax, Benny Maupin's on the alto flute, and bass clarinet, and soprano sax, and Danny Ray Thompson is on the baritone sax and the bells, and none other than Donald Smith
Oh, yeah.
on the piano, and Mr. Cecil McBee, a legend in his own right, is on the bass,
Yes.
and Nasheet Waits.
Wow, that's Nasheet Waits is such a special person because his father, Freddie Waits, was my best friend.
Oh,
And Freddie did something that was probably the biggest honor I've had in my life. Is in his will, he's deceased now. In his will, he put me guardian over his kids.
oh my goodness.
He said, "Okay, I'm gone. You got it." I say, "Wow, that was so special." He said, "Raise my children."
Yes,
Right? And he has two sons,
Yeah,
Nasheed and Sharif.
and Cherie.
And I never had a problem with anybody. I mean, it was just like a smooth sailing. Nasheed is such just a respectable, fine musician, fine individual, and he calls me Uncle Dick, and that's so great. It's like Fred was my actual real brother, blood brother, and so that's really just a unique, special thing in my life. And I have a son, so we
Say
all
your
kind of.
son's name.
My son is Jakuba. In fact, I was just telling everybody, I'm going to be going to Las Vegas to visit him on the 3rd of January.
Yes.
I'm going to spend a week out there and, just have some great times with my son. But they both play drums, and Nasheed is the drummer on this recording, and my son is the drummer in the Surf Delay.
On the circular.
And he's doing
Cirque
Gakana, that show out in Las Vegas. So he's been doing that for a while, so I'm going to go out and spend some time with him.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And wow, it's just the people on that recording, we got together just by a miracle because it was Hurricane Sandy time.
Oh my.
Nasheed had been flooded out of his place on West Beth, and he was living in Connecticut. Cecil McBee had just come in from Japan. Benny Maupin was here a week before to do the date, and he was stuck here because of the Hurricane Sandy situation. Marshall and Danny came from Philadelphia. They couldn't come in through the Lincoln Tunnel, so they had to come across the George Washington Bridge. And they were stuck here because they couldn't leave to go back to Philadelphia. So we were all kind of put together by divine, I can say, just a miracle in a sense,
Yes.
And we all went in that studio, and things came together, and now you have the product. But all the stuff around that is just amazing how everybody got to be there at the same time. Because Cecil came in from Japan. He was on tour. Well, and he told me, I won't be in until this date. So we got together, rehearsed, did the recording, everything came together. And plus, it was just some bad weather, thinking about that Hurricane Sandy and
That's
everything.
right.
And I have to say a very good friend of mine, Roy Norman, he helped produce the record because he pulled everybody together. He picked up everybody, took a lot of stress off of me. So it was just amazing how things
That's beautiful.
happen.
How wonderful.
And it's and that song Interplanetary is actually when Sun Ra performs, he sings it's a up-tempo song. Interplanetary music, doom da doom the interplanetary music, interplanetary melody, dun 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 dun.
Oh, I love that.
Interplanetary harmony, dun 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 dun. Interplanetary music, dun dun dun. Interplanetary music.
Oh.
So
I love it when you sing it live a cappella here in the studio.
Oh, thank you. But I decided to give it another whole feeling. To sing it as a romantic song, as a ballad. And it does still. It feels good to still sing.
It feels like a lullaby.
Right,
It's nourishing. Yes, it's just beautiful. Isn't it the most charming? And what is that part when your voice goes down?
Oh yeah.
Well, no, you say interplanetary, and then you go interplanetary. And I don't know what that is, but I love it.
It's like I don't know. It's a roar. It's something coming from way deep in your soul.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It comes down, I don't know whether it's a decibel or, down the scale, as the bridge, I think it is, or something. I don't know. You have to tell me because I'm not a musician.
The bridge
is it?
Yeah, it goes down chromatically.
Yeah.
It does. Okay. All right.
Go down chromatically.
Right. That.
Yeah, it goes down
And
chromatically.
half steps, right?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It does. It feels like it's going down your soul.
Yeah.
Down your chakras. It's like,
Oh, thank you.
and gives. I feel such a sense of peace.
Well, that was the
Peace.
purpose of it. I wanted to give, it's like I tell you, it's a very up-tempo song.
Yeah, I
And a lot
like
of
the way
time-
you do it that way too.
Sometimes the band will end with that, boom, ba-dum, dum, dum, dum. They start marching around and everything. But then I wanted to give it another shape because, there's all different kind of colors in particular song.
Right.
It's such a beautiful song constructively in terms of how the bridge, like you say, how the bridge go down half steps and
Yes.
everything. But when you're doing it fast, you don't catch it as much.
Right.
But when you slow it down, it's like, wow, yeah, it slides right down and
Yes,
it's
it
just going down. It
does,
goes
it
down. It
does,
just like
it
lays
does.
you to rest.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yeah,
Tuck you in.
that's right.
That's the idea.
Oh, it's a beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. That's it. I do that in a meditation here in the mornings. At around 7 or so, we just take it down and give a sense of peace. A sense of peace and quiet, and restore ourselves to our true center.
Yeah.
Beautiful
thank
thing. Yeah, and then there's a story. There's a story about your composition, "Soft, Warm, and Hot."
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the story is, but I could hear it in the music.
Well, let me see how I can put it. You can look at that song a lot of ways, but I look at it when I wrote it. It was all about the progression of like starting, like you put something, maybe cook something, you know. It starts and then it gets warm and then it gets hot. You know, go that progression.
Yeah.
Then you go into intimacy. You can go there, and I have to say nothing more. But that, I was thinking of it when I wrote it as an
Were you?
intimacy
I like that
progression. You know,
because there's something about combining warm and hot that's
Yeah.
gentle.
yeah,
You know, that's
Yeah.
lovely. That's
Yeah.
you know, there is warm regards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's warm embrace, and it's tender and it's about loveliness. You
Yeah.
know, but we're naturally hot too.
Right.
yeah.
You know,
but-
so that it should be together.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
And-
think
and
about
can
it.
be.
Think about
that's
it.
right.
When you touch hands with somebody, if you hold it long enough, your hands will get warm.
That's right.
Right.
And they get hot. I mean,
Right.
you know,
Right.
you can be cold, and most people they
Right.
rub their hands together. So all of that is about just heating yourself up, and then getting to a warm, and then you always come in from outside, you know, cold, and then
Yes.
warm yourself
And then
up
you
and
Right.
embrace yourself. So
Right.
so that's all that.
And then the soft part, the soft, you know,
Yeah.
the soft is a beautiful place and space too. You know, it's like a soft voice. You know, sotto voce. It's
Yeah.
comforting.
Yeah.
You know, soft and lovely.
but everything is soft before it gets hard.
Well, that's true.
Think about glass, concrete, pavement,
That's
That's
right.
cakes and cookies and everything. They're soft before they get hard.
Right.
It's all,
Yes.
You're right.
That's a very
Everything.
important.
I mean,
that's a
it starts
very-
from soft. It starts from liquid,
Yeah.
goes to the solid.
Yes.
It doesn't go from solid to liquid. It can go that way,
It
but
can.
generally,
Generally,
the
that's
general
right.
process is from liquid to solid, soft to hard.
Even in birthing,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
you know, the soft. You
Soft to
know,
loud.
just this little bit of life form
Yes.
that
uh-huh.
begins to evolve.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know, now Kulaleku, how many babies have you birthed?
Oh, about 800.
Oh,
800 babies.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah. And I had a midwife, so I was born with a midwife.
Were you?
Yeah, Miss Mary.
Miss
Yeah.
Mary. Yeah,
Yep.
midwife was a very important figure at one time
Yeah.
in this country. Things
Yeah.
have changed, though. Yeah, the politics and the
but you still have an
economics.
organization that
Yes, the Harlem
supports.
Birth Global Birth Action Collective now.
That's
we do.
great. Yeah.
And but there's been tremendous changes, and I hope at one point in the future that it won't be a midwife, be a dinosaur.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh,
yeah.
'cause
Oh
we-
no, it
what is
can't be.
that?
You know,
You know, even now, I've never heard that before, but
isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
moving along to another realm.
Isn't that something? It's no, but we have to
Technologically.
maintain the very foundation of our human connection in these important moments of our lives.
We do. We really do.
We really, really do, because you know a lot of things are becoming inaccessible.
Yes.
So we have to rely on ourselves and our connections and honor, you know, our life and our authority
Right.
in these things. You
It's
know,
true.
It's amazing now. Let's go back even 5-6 years ago. Now you go into everyone in this room probably has a cell phone, and everyone. And when you see them in the subways
Oh,
and,
my
and on the trains,
Right.
they're looking at their cell
Right.
phones. They're doing either something with the cell phone.
Deep concentration.
deep.
Right.
Yeah.
So then they're not speaking to you.
That's right.
No.
They're not saying, how do you feel? If somebody start to have a heart attack, they're so into the cell
Right.
phones.
That's right.
They're
Right.
not there.
They
to-
miss all the
Right.
They're
signs
not-
and miss the
so-
connect.
Right.
And also, you know, when we're in that subway together, we have this human connection through
That's
our
right.
aura.
That's right. That's right.
You know, we're all connected, but if you're not paying attention, you miss the vibration.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
I mean, it's amazing that the cell phone was created to connect people, to make it easy, I guess, for us to connect. But it's not. That's
Yeah.
not what it's doing.
No,
No,
no, no, no.
That's very, very interesting. You know,
I see people walking down the street looking at them.
Bump right into you.
Yeah,
I've been looking at them. I want to see how close will they come to you before
they realize.
yeah,
they say, excuse me.
Yes,
yeah,
it's so
They
true.
have to be jolted out of something, and
That's
it's a very serious
It is.
problem.
But I have to say that as a writer, it also gives me the ability to instantly whip out this thing and start writing,
yeah.
That's true.
making some notes to
That's
myself. I have to
true.
send myself a note instantly about a theme, a title, a lead to a story, something, that's been transmitted
Right.
to me that I've got to
That's right.
follow up on, or
That's
a
right.
song,
That's right.
or a song composition. So
That's
Yeah.
a good side
No,
of
but
it.
That's the
it
good
has
side.
its good and bad. I'm not saying one thing or another, but it is now. See, that is the way life is. That was then, and this is now.
right.
We can't say that was bad and this is good, or that was good and this is bad. It's just like we are living in the now,
Right.
and it's so good to remember what the then was.
That's right.
And see how sometimes the now compared to the then have their, plus and minus on both sides.
But it's also interesting as a member of the global community, the then to us is still the now to some cultures.
That's true.
That's
Yeah,
right.
uh-huh.
Because when I was exploring the Omo Valley, they don't have cell phones.
Right.
And so they're operating in how we used to operate.
What valley is that?
The Omo Valley
Where is
in
it?
Ethiopia.
The Omo?
Yeah, the
O-M-O?
southern part of Ethiopia,
Mm-hmm.
where they're not even dealing with electricity,
Right.
and so they have this rich connection. And I'm not saying that we do not have a rich connection using cell phones, because there are things that I do that really helps me when I use my cell phone.
Yes,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
But
Yeah,
in terms of operating in it then and now, it becomes what do you call it? Relative.
Oh yeah.
Depending
yeah.
on, so it's so interesting. And it's wonderful to experience the then and the now.
Right.
So to go to southern Ethiopia, the Omo Valley, and to feel that connection, a physical connection, and that people have,
Right,
that we. I mean, we still have it, but we don't have it in the same way that we used to have it. But we have access to experience it if we go to somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to be reminded of where you've come from.
Right.
Because knowledge is power. That's all it's just power. Then things you know are very easy to do. Things you don't know are very difficult to do.
Right.
Those are the most two hard.
That's
those probably
right.
two hardest thing in the world to do, is things you don't want to do, and things you don't know how to do. So those are the most two difficult things in the world to do, and a lot of things we don't want to do.
Right.
Sometimes you walk in your house, I don't want to be watching. I don't want to do this today, and it just becomes a big issue and a big
Right.
problem.
Right.
But to be simple, just pick up something, put something. But then things, if I got in a plane and the pilot had a heart attack, I couldn't fly the plane because I wouldn't have the knowledge. Understand? So
Right.
same thing. Now, if you're in a car, somebody gets there, you can drive it. Most people can do that.
Yes.
So that's what knowledge becomes really powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. It is indeed. Oh boy, what a moment. Well, I'm gonna try this sweet little something that you have offered to us. Something that represents life and love, and intimacy and creation, and is universal. It's soft, warm, and hot. From
Soft,
Dick.
warm and hot.
Yes, from Dick Griffin on his new release, Homage to Sun Ra.
Oh, all right.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Beautiful and more beautiful. Almost as beautiful as these people in the studio with me.
Oh, there's really some good stories in there.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Nice.
and see, and Dick is such a sensitive, you know, that the appreciation of who you all really are is just so profound for us. You know? It's just so beautiful and so lovely. And it's a good way to celebrate today, and it's a good way to be in the gardens of tranquility and contemplation here at WHCR at 90.3 FM. And Devio, you got a mission for us.
Yes. So I was talking to you about my organization, Speaking in Rhythms,
Yes.
which is an organization that provides a comprehensive music program for youth in the community. And so it's a very wonderful program in terms of children learning musicianship, musicianships, and also compositional skills. So they're learning how to play percussion instruments, which would include the pitch percussion, xylophones, marimbas, vibraphones, as well as every percussion instrument you can name. And so as a part of providing this comprehensive music program for youth, they are learning music from various cultures. So they travel to Puerto Rico, they travel to Belize to study the Garifuna, music from the Garifuna people. They study the Gullah Geechee. David Pleasant, I don't know if you know him. He's
No.
wonderful percussionist. He taught them. They studied music from Peru, Afro-Peruvian music.
I have some Afro-Peruvian jazz here.
Marco Napa. And recently we studied music from Ethiopia.
Nice.
Which is not, people, there's a variety of styles.
That's true. That's true.
There are over 80 different ethnic groups in Ethiopia.
Sometimes I play music from the Debo Band, with an Ethiopian group. I think I got that CD from Marcus Samuelson. So,
So it's in terms of developing their music vocabulary, they have to learn music and about music in different ways, so they can be great composers. And so we want them to be composers. We want them to be creators of their music.
Yes.
So because I live in Abu Dhabi now, the organization is trying to maintain and sustain itself.
Okay. And so you need a little support.
Yeah, we need support. We were housed at Manor House. We're still housed. We just need to get the program rolling again. So I was speaking with Gloria Denard yesterday about how we can do that. I appreciate Gloria Denard. She's the founder, of Manor House, which is, I think, one of the greatest music institutions in the community.
How beautiful! And we're talking about over 45 years.
Right. So I just appreciate that she was willing to have us there, and so it's a wonderful relationship. And
But
so,
now you need another musical director. Is that it?
There are more things we need. We need a board.
Oh, okay.
The whole structure has to be revamped.
Okay.
We have instructors. We have wonderful instructors. The financial aspect of it is really the problem. Just being able to financially keep the program going. And so that's what we need support with. Because we have the instructors.
Well, give your website again, or whatever contact that you want to use at this moment, so that bright minds who are tuned in now can contemplate what it is that they can do in support of what it is that you do for all of us.
Okay, so the website again is Speaking in Rhythms. So that's www.speakinginrhythms, SpeakingInRhythms.org. People can call while I'm here. I'm here until January 5th.
Oh, great.
And my number is 718-308-1713, or they can contact Makiba Rainey, who's my daughter, and her number is 718-308-5481.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
that.
for
Oh
allowing
my
me to talk
goodness
about-
gracious, yes. Oh, we're at the top of the hour here. And I just want to, let everybody know that we are in the gardens of tranquility and contemplation.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
And so it's, it's an opportunity for us to play a little holiday music, as well as pay this wonderful tribute to you, Dick Griffin, for this. You're so welcome. This marvelous CD, homage to Sun Ra. And what a gorgeous story, your experiences being from Mississippi have had you the privilege of being in touch with Medgar Evers.
Yes, Medgar Evers was a personal friend, a very dear friend of mine. We used to have lunch every day at this place on Lynch Street called Smackovers, and his office was across the street in the Masonic Temple, and he would tell me a lot about the different cities that he would, what cities or towns he would go in, and how he'd have to be sometimes chased out and all of this kind of stuff. So we were very close in a sense that we ate lunch together just about every day. And my sister was in a meeting. My sister was in high school. He was organizing the youth to sit in, because the strategy during that time, I was in college. I was around 21, 22, something like that. But if they had arrested me in Mississippi at that time, I would probably be sent to a place called Parchman, which is a state penitentiary.
Oh, notorious.
And
penitentiary.
then I would not probably ever been released or been seen.
Mm-hmm.
But as a youth, they couldn't do that to the people that were minors. So they did. The minors did all the sitting in and protesting. I remember my sister, the last day of school, there again, everything was done with a very, very careful strategy. It wasn't just like, we're going to do this, we're going to run out here, and we're going to do this. No, because he knew he was a lawyer, number one. That was his...
I didn't know he was a
Medgar
lawyer.
Evers was a lawyer. Yeah, he was a lawyer. So he knew the law, and he was working within the law, just on that. Because had he had the kids come out of school during the school time, then the teachers and the principals would be held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Last day of school, they can't be held accountable.
Right.
So all of this stuff was just very carefully strategized. And my sister, she was arrested, and they didn't have room in the jails because they knew that. So they built tents and they built pits and little they treated them like animals. My sister was there for a week, and she never told us how they were treated. She said that they would just throw bologna and bread in this place for them to eat, and it was so it was like very late in my life I learned about it, because she never told my mother. When my mother came to pick her up from being arrested, she never talked about it. Nobody never talked about it. Saying all of that, the night that he got killed, my sister was in a meeting. He was organizing the youth. He went home that night and they got shot.
Oh my God.
And a friend of mine named Walter Jackson, he lived about 3 doors on the same side of the street from Medgar. And he's an artist. He's a sculptor and a very close friend of mine. We went to high school together. And then Charles Evers lived across the street from my girlfriend at the time, and he knew his phone was tapped. So when he would get a phone call, he would get it at Nita's house, and he would come across the street with his gun in his hand to answer his phone. He knew that he wasn't going to get taken out like his brother.
Right.
So it's
Charles was a very different and wonderful figure, and his approach, I presume he was not a lawyer.
no, I don't think he's right. No.
His approach was a little different and a lot
I'm
more
not-
militant, it seemed to me,
Yeah.
to be than his brother Medgar. And I want to say good morning to a great leader who is a masterful strategist. Very much. We were just talking about Medgar Evers, who was a very good friend of Dick Griffin here. Bill Perkins, Senator Bill Perkins, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing.
Okay.
You know.
We have so
Thank God I
much.
can breathe.
Thank God. Okay, yes. And why can you breathe?
Well, first of all, in that regard, you know, the work that you and others do with us when we get a chance
Thank
to do
you.
it with you
Thank
Right.
you.
is inspirational, especially during this period of time when, you know, we're thinking about the holidays and stuff. We want to always recognize and appreciate those that we've traveled with throughout the year,
Yes.
whether it was recently to Washington to protest the police brutality and other injustices, or whether it was 40 years ago when maybe more or less we first started to meet. We've been fortunate to, you know, to stay on the trail and continue to serve and be blessed with the support that this show and all the activists and our unsung heroes and sheroes.
That's right. That's right. The organic ones.
The everlasting.
Everlasting.
It's like the evergreen.
Oh yeah.
It's Christmas tree.
That's right. That's right.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall.
Yes.
Right. That's right.
Yes.
So thank you so much for.
You know, and we also are remembering My Love. You know, Devior's mom.
Yes.
And her
We're trying to do a
activism.
tribute for her soon at this Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State
Yeah.
Office building.
That's right.
Yeah.
January 3rd,
Yeah.
Saturday,
Yeah.
5 p.m.
At the Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State Office building.
That's right.
And if you don't mind, if folks want to reach out for details, they can always call our office
Good.
at 212-222-7315.
Yes, sir.
That's for either Linda or Cordell of my staff, and they'll share with you the arrangements that are being made in her tribute. We want to have it on her 25th Street,
Okay.
the home range.
Yeah. Yes.
And obviously, we're looking forward to her colleagues in the vending.
Some of your remembrances of My Love and her contribution to the community's
Well,
backbone.
you know, there was a mart.
There was
that was the
once a
start.
mart.
That was the start of a movement to provide a space for entrepreneurs, what we might call street vendors, to sell products that were relevant to the neighborhood. Often, and she was a part of that earlier group
That's right.
that made a commitment to herself and to her customers, the community, that she was going to provide, you know, product, and in that way, not only make a living, but also be in touch with the neighborhood. You know, people don't realize that very often. The daily news is on the street with the vendor.
That's right.
My love was very good about that. If I ran into her, are you going to that meeting?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get it. But you know, so she would be useful in terms of sharing what was going on in the neighborhood above and beyond what she was doing for sale.
Yes.
And for those of us who were activists or more or less elected, she was very valuable in keeping us aware. And even as she shared information, she also had an opinion about what more we need to do.
That's right.
And that was good. And that was good too.
That's right.
So with the rose comes the thorns.
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
In every case, it's a blessing.
Oh, that is so wise, and we appreciate so deeply. I really thank you for, all you do, your leadership, your oneness with us in the community, because you're not the kind of person who just rises above us and looks down low. No, you walk the walk and talk the talk, and you're one with us.
Yeah. Well, ultimately we can go no further than you, no matter what our title may be, which is only a temporary title anyway.
Right.
It's
some of us may serve 100 years. It's still
yes,
temporary.
It's true.
That's right.
It's very true.
And we all got to come back home.
That's right. We
or
have to
never
be at
leave
home.
it to begin with.
That's
right.
the truth. And this are lessons for those of us who want to seek leadership, or who may be our organic leaders.
Right.
Our real heroes and sheroes. We must always remember that lesson, and so homage to your mom.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome, my love. And homage to Sun Ra, who, in connection with all the forces in the universe, brought us a message of resilience, having been born in Alabama.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn Birmingham.
Yes.
That's right.
That's right. Nina,
That
she
was a
said it.
poem.
That's right. Yeah.
Isn't it the truth? I have something I have to play for you that kind of expresses that whole legacy and sentiment. I've got to see which track this is. It very well may be.
They dragged you from homeland. They chained you in coffins. They huddled you spoon fashion in filthy hatches. They sold you to give a few gentlemen ease. They broke you in like oxen. They scourged you. They branded you. They made your women breeders. They swelled your number with bastards. They taught you the religion that they disgraced. You sang, keep a inching along like a po-inch worm. You sang, by and by, I'm gonna lay down this heavy load. You sang, walk together, children, don't you get weary. The strong men keep it coming on. The strong men get stronger. They point with pride to the roads you built for them. They ride in comfort over the rails you laid for them. They put hammers in your hands and said, drive so much before sundown. You sang, ain't no hammer in this land, boys, strikes like mine, baby, strikes like mine. They cooked you in their kitchens. They penned you in their factories. They gave you the jobs that they were too good for. They tried to guarantee happiness to themselves by shunting dirt and misery to you. You sang, me and my baby gonna shine, shine. Me and my baby gonna shine. The strong men keep it coming on. The strong men get stronger. They bought off some of your leaders. You stumbled as blind men will. They coaxed you, unwantedly soft voice. You followed away, then laughed as usual. They heard the laugh and wondered, uncomfortable, unadmitting a deeper terror. The strong men keep it coming on, getting stronger. What from the slums where they have hemmed you? What from the tiny huts they could not keep from you? What reaches them, making them ill at ease, fearful? Today they shout prohibitions at you. Thou shalt not this, thou shalt not that, reserved to whites only. You laugh. One thing they cannot prohibit: the strong men coming on. The strong men getting stronger. Strong men, stronger!
And that is, I take this opportunity to dedicate that song to Senator Bill Perkins and to great brother Dick Griffin. That's okay. All right. Thanks, Bill. Keep up the good work. All right. Peace. Oh, just a wonderful, wonderful warm morning. I knew you were going to love these people.
Oh, yes. Yes. They're really, really, really beautiful.
Yes.
And like you say, the energy, I read energy, so it was just like...
yeah, like a Christmas present.
Oh, yeah. Party time, you know.
You know, this was like a Christmas present, like a Christmas party.
Oh, yes, yeah.
For us right here today. And that was what I wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's so good. People really... I don't think they realize how important there's a song that people need people and you know, the luckiest people in the world, but that's what we're here for.
That's right.
I mean, we're not here to get in our little cocoons and this and sit around and look at other people and turn up your nose at them and
that's right.
And wonder, oh, you know, you see somebody who's mentally ill on the street and you just don't have any kind of feelings.
No compassion. That's right.
I have to share this with you.
Yes.
My mother, deceased
and
now.
say your mother's name.
Ruby Mayo Banner. And I've named my record company for her, Ruby Records.
I'm so proud of that.
My mother first came to New York in the 80s, and my name is James Richard Griffin, and none of my family called me Dick.
Right.
You know, since they called me James Richard, you know, right. James Richard, you know, my sister, James Richard, you know. Mm-hmm. So they got this short thing. But anyway, my mother, we were in the street and she said, James Richard. And I stopped. There was a guy laying on the street. She stopped. She couldn't. She said, listen, ain't somebody going to call somebody, you know, and somebody's going to go over and take care of them. She couldn't see that. She couldn't believe that people would just walk by somebody laying out on the street and not give them something or help them or get them off the street or something. She stood there and she said, we got to do something, you know. Is he all right? I said, Mama, he's probably this. And then, you know, she just couldn't do it. She never could walk by a person that's laying out on the street without giving her energy or feeling like, oh, I'm so sorry that you're down here.
Yes.
Anything I can do to help you.
That's it.
Even if, you know, like New York has got a few people out there doing the con games and all that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, she reads energy. She knew that person was...
He needed help.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needed help, and that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
That's what we're on the planet to do, is to help, to help one another, you know. Yeah, but I have to tell you that I'm so grateful for your mother.
Oh, thank you.
And for you and the cloth you come from and the fabric you are and what you have given so graciously to us. You know, it's amongst musicians, it's special.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. I've learned that lesson. You know, interacting with many musicians here through the music, and really just appreciating the music and appreciating the musicians so much. Mm-hmm. But it is the rare man or woman like yourself who cares and who is gracious.
Oh, yeah. I mean, more and more I realize that people they're going in the wrong direction. When I say the world is going in the wrong direction, because all you see now is a lot of hate, fights, wars. People shooting innocent kids. Unarmed kids. I don't care what situation it is. I'm not going to go deep into it.
No, but we do go deep. There is no excuse for shooting someone. If you want to question or bring into custody for questioning, or even apply an arrest, that's a duty.
Yeah.
But if there is probable cause or justification, but to shoot to kill, that is murder.
Yeah.
That renders that person a criminal who has done that crime. I don't care whether law enforcement or anything else. They're a criminal once they've done that dirty deed.
And it's such a.
It's heart-wrenching.
It's heart-wrenching. Then there's a lynching in North Carolina.
That's right.
That's definitely a lynching. And
That's right.
there are a lot, not only a lynching in North Carolina, but there are quite a few in Mississippi that hasn't been spoken about.
Is that
yes,
right?
I know personally of one at least in around Columbia, Mississippi, and Prentice in that area.
Yes.
There was the same situation, same scenario.
I think I heard about it.
This young teenage black kid dating a white woman, a white young girl or lady or whatever, and they wound up finding him committing suicide.
Right, with his sneaker strings or something like that. Supposedly. And, these situations where the youngster is arrested, put in jail, the lights go off in the entire jail, and then when the lights come on, he's hanging from.
Right.
This is lynching.
Yes.
This is lynching by criminals.
That's true.
By criminals. And we need to be clear about that. But as strong men and women, we have the ability to stand up and make justice.
Oh yeah.
Roll down.
It's like I say, it's the direction of the world is going. I mean, it's like more and more wars, more disputable deaths.
That's right.
Because the result is death.
That's right.
Now, how it got to happen just doesn't add up. The math of life doesn't
it's these things are just awful, and the escalation in the numbers of them is supposed to tell us something.
Oh yeah.
But I say that it tells us to demand democracy, to demand justice, to recognize in our own communities that Black lives matter, that all life matters.
Yeah.
And,
and the other side of it is just fair and trust and being accountable.
I'm going to bring a piece of your music up right now, something soft, warm, and hot, and beautiful. We all will be right back here in the Gardens of Tranquility and Contemplation at WHCR.
Whcr 90.3 FM, New York.
The world-famous Apollo Theater's annual Kwanzaa celebration, Regeneration Night, returns Saturday, December 27th at 7:30 p.m. with an added matinee performance at 2 p.m. Imhotep Gary Bird hosts this evening of dance and music, celebrating Kwanzaa principles of family, community, and culture, featuring acclaimed poet Sonia Sanchez, Abdel Salam's Forces of Nature Dance Theater, and more. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit www.apollotheater.org.
Feel the joy as we sing of the love.
we're talking about Christ consciousness, about the origins of this in Africa, in Egypt, and Stars Over Marrakesh, where Morocco and Tunis, and Egypt and Nubia all have a relationship. Well, Stars Over Marrakesh is from Bertha Hope's CD, Nothing But Love, and our beloved sister is in the house with us. Good morning, my dear.
Good morning, good morning.
Oh, I'm so glad you made it.
I'm so glad to be here.
And I'm glad that you got a chance to see Dick Griffin.
I know, it's wonderful. We used to play in a band together, and you got to see each other every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, rain, shine, snow, sleet.
Oh, we were there.
We were with the Wade Barnes Ensemble, and it was quite a group of talented musicians. Yeah.
Oh man, I miss that so much. You know?
I do too.
That made my week, made my day.
Yeah, something that I looked forward to.
I just too, you know.
How sweet.
Yeah.
How beautiful. Did you all ever record anything from that group?
There were some recordings, but I was late into
I didn't make any recordings that have been released, but I always taped every time I played, just about, and I do have some of those. But jam sessions. Wow. You remember when Hal Mabon would come through and all these different people, we just play and just afterwards or before, it was just so like old times, like music was made and music should be created. It's created on the spot. You collaborate with people and you just start to play, and then somebody brings something and then it happens, and it's no definite time or definite place for it to happen. It's the magical moments.
Right.
We don't have those as much
not
anymore.
Too much, and people.
I didn't know that did not still exist in jazz.
Well, the universities have taken that idea that's the way to do it. I witnessed last night at a jam session two very young people. It was a young band. Mm-hmm. The trumpet player walked over to the piano player and said, "This is an AABC form. And don't worry, you'll hear it." Now that was really music to my ears. Yeah. Uh-huh. Don't worry, you'll hear it. But then I realized this song that he was describing, the young man at the piano had never heard it. Uh-huh. The young man at the piano had never heard it, and it was a Dizzy Gillespie classic.
Right.
So he's not going to ever hear it now, in my opinion, because he thinks he knows it.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Because after the first chorus, he had tremendous ears, and you could see he had skills. And he was very good in terms of his dexterity. And by the third chorus, he was playing it. Uh-huh. But I wonder if he is going to go back to the leader and say, "What's the name of that song? I want to hear it."
That's right.
I bet dollars to donuts that he's not. Because now he thinks he knows it.
Right.
Why? Yeah. Because he played the form.
That's right.
But he doesn't have a clue.
Oh, the great Bertha Hope. See, you and Dick Griffin, we've got so much to learn from you all. So much to understand about the music and the natural evolution of it and the foundation that has been laid by so many greats. You're talking about a legendary song by Dizzy Gillespie. Oh yes. It's okay. Mm-hmm. It's all right.
The passing it on. I was so delighted to see the trumpet player do that, though, because I thought, oh my goodness, because usually this generation now puts an iPhone on their music stand. And you call the name of the tune, and they punch in the name of the song or the author, and up come the changes
Yeah.
to the song.
Yes.
So there's a whole case to be made for not ever hearing the source, because they don't need to hear it in order to be able to execute it. Executing it is not quite the same as knowing what it was made from, who made it originally, and maybe even hearing some other renditions of it, you know.
Sure.
But the kids are so full of confidence, and the fact that they've gotten they've gone through their course of study, and they have all these electronic devices to move them forward. When I first saw a musician pull out his phone, I was like, my decades are upon me.
Isn't that something?
That's the way now.
That's
You know,
amazing.
they got all these songs and with the changes, and I had a young guy come over to my house, and the same thing I've said, do you know, Sierra, just any song. Just play it, he got the changes. Wow.
Thanks for joining this conversation this morning. Happy holidays, seasons, greetings, and how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I just want to let you know that the station is popping in and out real bad.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Is
Yeah,
that on
it's breaking
radio
up
or
really bad?
radio or computer?
It's the radio.
The radio, we've got bad transmission. Has that been going on all day?
Well, as long as I've been listening for about a good 20 minutes now.
Oh no! Listen, and this being one of our really special shows. I'd like you to say good morning to Dick Griffin and Bertha Hope.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning.
And happy holidays.
Yeah.
Happy holidays. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Will. Yeah, I was just enjoying.
He's
the
one of our
conversation.
listeners.
Oh, wonderful.
well.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks, Will. I'm glad that you called to let us know that we're going to work on it. We're going to work on our transmission, and if you get a chance to check us out on computer at whcr.org, let us know how we're doing there. I think you can click on the audio play and get it through your computer. That may be possible. You were having a little difficulty too, Bertha.
Yes, I did. I'm on the
On
website.
Radio?
On the radio. Yeah.
Okay, wasn't quite coming through.
No,
you know,
a lot
yeah.
of noise, a lot of static.
A lot of static. Yeah, one of those
Well,
days.
I'm gonna go back and listen and let y'all continue this good conversation as always.
That's cool.
Oh, thank you very much.
Blessings.
All right, y'all have a good day.
You
Okay.
You too.
Absolutely wonderful.
I never listened to myself. I'm always.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that me?
Yes, ma'am. That's Bertha Hope.
Beautiful.
It's called Super 80.
Yeah.
I know there's a story behind that song.
Well, that was written by Charles Davis.
Oh.
And Charles Davis was the tenor player in the band that I put together to preserve, promote, promulgate Elmer Hope's music.
Right.
Oh, is that right?
Right, yeah. So actually, Walter Booker, who I later married, is the one who pushed me to really put that band together because he wanted to play the music. And he comes out of that hard bop cannonball, Nat Adderley tradition.
Talk
so,
about it. Now there's a relationship. See, we started off our 9 o'clock set with Dick Griffin's homage to Sun Ra.
Oh yes, right.
And then there's the Sun Ra and Adderley.
Right, yes. Oh well, was Charles Davis in that band also?
Yes, yes.
Oh, so
Look at that.
There's so many things that I don't know about who was in the Sun Ra band because I think a lot of people
Came through. James Spaulding, Charles Davis,
John
Gilmore, Pat Patrick, Marshall Allen, a lot of the guys out of Chicago, the trumpet player, Cochran, he has a family. His kids play on the streets. Streets got a band. It was just Sunrise was.
And now, where did the Adderley brothers fall into that?
The Adderley brothers are from Florida, I think.
Were they ever part of the Sunrise?
I don't think so.
Group?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, they were out of
Tallahassee or
Tallahassee, Florida, and I guess they went to FAMU, and Sam Jones was from Florida.
Oh, right.
Really?
And
was Junior Cook ever in the Sunrise Band? He was from Florida
not
too.
to my knowing.
Yeah, I didn't know.
No, I don't think he was. But yeah.
But there was a procession, you know, that you were telling me about, Bertha.
Oh, for the Sunrise Band?
Uh-huh.
Now, were you part of the band when they played in Slugs?
Oh, yes. I was there every Monday night.
Okay, so I was telling her, I used to live right down the street from Slugs.
On 3rd Street?
On 3rd Street, in the block right below it. Further toward Avenue A. I was between A and B. And I was telling her that the band used to line up on the sidewalk to go in.
We did the procession.
And I was telling her about the costuming and the look of the band. It was otherworldly. I mean, the costumes were bright and they were inventive. You know. And so there was a spectacle before you even heard the music. There was this visual enjoyment of watching them line up and tune up or listen to a little bit of what their horn sounded like outside. It was just amazing. And every Monday night that I could possibly be there, I was there to hear Sunrise. And I was talking about the drummer, one of the first huge drums that I had ever witnessed or heard played. That big, I'm not even sure the name of it, but
James
it was
Jackson. He made it out of a log.
Yes, you could tell.
He made that drum, James Jackson.
Wow.
And he taught himself to play bassoon because I was there when he came in. He sort of like almost discovered or found a bassoon or somehow he got it maybe. But then he started to play bassoon and he played the drums. See, before James even came into the band, he was a craftsman. He made leather. He made all kinds of wood carvings and stuff. So, but when he came to the band, he made those instruments. Marshall made instruments as well.
Oh, wow.
Marshall Allen.
Yeah,
well,
Marshall.
That drum was amazing. He stood on a little footstool.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
To play it, and I think I saw Milford Graves play it.
He probably did.
And two big mallets.
Yeah, he made those mallets
as big as this cover for this microphone. And he stood up on this stool and he leaned his head back and raised his arms really high to hit these drums. And the lighting made him look otherworldly with his mouth open, and the lighting gave him some kind of a gold aura around his head. It was unbelievable pageantry, really. And also the feeling of that drum, it felt like it went right through your bones. It was amazing. And you know, that stage was rather small.
It's small, yeah. And sawdust on the floor.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
What?
I missed that so much, you know.
Yeah.
I played there with, I played the matinees with Frank Foster's big band. And then I would play with Rosson Roland Kirk. I played there with Chico Hamilton. Oh, man, how many bands I played there with? So many bands.
Oh, wow.
And Pharoah Sanders. We used to do Monday nights at
Pharoah, what a big sound.
Pharoah Sanders, at the time, Monday nights.
And he was astral traveling, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
one
still
of my,
is, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know, but it's one of my favorite songs. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Astral traveling. It's a consciousness.
Yeah.
And the night that I got a chance to see you at the Dwyer with T.S. Monk on the panel and Dinga, the fine artist Dinga McCannon, and Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, we were talking about that astral consciousness. And
Well, I started that when I met Sunra in the 60s. I say it could have been 59, it could have been 60, but I know it was right into that time when I would go to Chicago for my summers. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. So my first trip out of Mississippi was around 59. That's when I went to Chicago. That was the first look at what we call integration. Because South Side was black and everything, but in Chicago, then it was so-called integrated in a sense. So that was my first peep of that, because I was brought up in the segregated South of Jackson, Mississippi. And like I say, I actually was in a march that Dr. King led coming out of Jackson State. He marched all the way down to State Street. And State Street was all the way down into the city from Jackson State. Jackson State was on Lynch Street, so we marched. And I wasn't, in the front line with him, but I was in that march. And I remember this was really the thing that I remember that march, that there was a policeman swung a billy club at my head, and he swung so hard that they knocked box off a telegram pole.
Oh my God!
Box flew off there. He swung at my head. I ducked so fast, and had he hit me, I'd have been not in here probably, or if I was here, I would probably not have my wits about me. But I remember this guy named was Slim, and this policeman, we knew everybody. We knew all the policemen, and this Slim, he swung at me with a billy club. Get back, So, and Dr. King he had all the guys that and he was leading that march, and then. We followed him, from the college. Everybody just filled in, and marched right down to the State Street. But that was one of the things I did. And like I said, Medgar Evers was a friend of mine. James Meritor was a classmate of mine.
Really?
He's the one that integrated. Yeah, James Meritor, my classmate. And we were over at Jackson State, and James Meritor had just come out of the Air Force. And he was married at the time. I think his wife is named Mary, I think. But he had just come out of the Air Force, so he would wear his army fatigue stuff. What army fatigue, but his trench coat. I used to like that Air Force blue trench coat and everything.
Sure. They were very handsome.
Yeah.
Our men, our fathers in the service with their uniforms.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So, but I remember
Absolutely
that.
Gorgeous.
So, yeah, I was in the middle of all of that. When I say all of that, my mother, we were. My mother I had three sisters, and my stepfather got killed when I was 7 years old. So my mother was a single parent, but she was so generous. She taught us to give. So I remember the time when the civil rights movement was having the Freedom Riders. Now, the Freedom Riders wasn't embraced by all the people in the city. When I say embraced, they were threatened in a sense. If they had a lot of association with the people that did the sit-ins and everything, they would feel like they lose their jobs. So there was a lot of kind of thing.
It was intimidation from the powers that be, and even in the media, we all look at all the recordings from Eyes on the Prize to many documentaries, and they called them outsiders. And even in feature films where they use the research, they use that language, quote unquote, call them outsiders causing trouble.
Oh yes, because
and they did that in Ferguson, Missouri too. Outsiders coming in
to agitate.
Agitate.
Let me tell you the story though. So anyway, I was a jazz musician. They would come around, and this lady named Janice Rose. So they would always love jazz. So I would take 6 or 7 of them, and we would go. I said, "Y'all come home with me." Now this is after the gig at 2:00. my mother would get up and fix breakfast for everybody.
Oh my Lord!
Bake biscuits and everything. I mean, that's how she was.
What a spirit!
Whoa.
Isn't that something?
And you know,
Yeah, but that's that community, that
Yes.
sense of come in, you're welcome.
That's right.
it
that's
didn't
right.
matter. It didn't matter.
And
what
that's
time.
we were talking about that in Africa, also in Ethiopia, and in Somaliland. The same tradition that is from Africa, the motherland of African American people. We retain that spirit.
Oh yeah. And my mother she would say, there was a guy named Paul, a friend of mine. She would make sure that I went and got him at every holiday because she lived with his grandmother, and she knew that he wouldn't have the right food and everything, so she made sure that I got him.
And brought him home.
Brought home to have food with us,
Yes.
have Christmas and every Thanksgiving or whatever. And she was just like that. And my mother also was, she would stop by and see sick people, take care of the older people, and feed them, bathe them, and do whatever she would do that.
Yeah.
My sister reminded me of that, when somebody got older or sick, they didn't have to worry about no home attendants and nothing like that. My mother stopped by and did that.
That's really interesting.
Isn't that something?
I grew up in Los Angeles, but my roots were from the South. So my father was very much like
my mom,
my mother and father. They passed on that. We had a garden. I mean, my father could grow anything. It seemed. So he took part of the land behind the house and made a vegetable garden, and we ate from that. My mother canned from that. There were trees everywhere that bore free fruit, free avocados, apricots, lemons, oranges,
Yummy.
guava. If they fell on the ground, they were yours. And so my father fed so many people from leftover, from things that we couldn't eat, that we ate fresh every day. He raised chickens, he raised rabbits. We literally ate from that land. He created a little farm in the backyard in the city, in the middle of the city. And then my mother would take those vegetables and take them, just as you were saying, to a family that was large and that was struggling. I mean, I was born right in between the Depression and World War II. So,
oh yeah,
but that feeling.
So there were tough times.
Tough,
but
very
there
tough.
were families. Your families had the tradition that our families did. My mother also.
Yes.
Of caring for other people.
And that is something in the city that we need to rekindle.
Oh yes.
We really need to. I mean, I can't say that I've been the one to say that I'm opening my home, but it's something that we all need to think about working toward, to remember that so many people are isolated in a city, in a big city like this, and when times are tough, they're more isolated.
That's right.
That's
right. But we could do better, and this is the season to remind us to open our hearts, and to share a little something, and to give some love and to think lovingly about one another. We need that. We need that very much, and it is such a privilege to have you all here with me to remind us of it in a very tender way, and to bring such loveliness. I can't thank you enough. I know I've got to get ready for my brother Nelson to come in shortly. But this is a conversation we can have again.
I'd love to have it again.
I
Yes,
would.
I mean, you have such a wonderful spirit. You really do. Just fill the room with the kind of love that we need to pass on. It's a joy to be here. in your presence.
Thank
yeah.
you so
You have the
much.
right name for your program. It's really, it is a blessing. I am going to tune it in on my computer because I have such a great little boom box, you know,
Right.
with the big speakers, and it just wouldn't come through.
We've got to work on that. I'm going to put in my requests that, our engineers look at our tower and see what we can do about making sure that our sound gets out, because I described to a lovely young lady that this is a public service.
Right.
This program offers a service to the public and to humanity. This reminder of kindness and sharing.
Yes.
And the beautiful music that you all make, and have the legend. And there you are. You were at Minton's last night.
Yes.
You at Minton's every Friday.
I'm at Minton's every other Friday and Saturday.
Oh, wow.
So there are two bands.
good.
Yeah, and it's a real pleasure to be in a house that I know was connected to the real history. Their spirit, those people's spirits are in that place, and they've smartly put them on the walls. So
Yes.
Thelonious Monk is right there, larger than life.
Right.
And I'm honored to be in that chair because he was the house pianist during those days. When you hear the live recordings from Minton's, he was the house pianist for the jam session.
Wow.
And the place has such a great history of African American ownership and love, the spirit of it. When you hear the history of Teddy Hill and Mr. Minton, and the fact that he also fed musicians.
Oh, look.
He put a pot on. And then if you wanted to sit at a table and have dinner, then you sat at one of the tables with a tablecloth, and I think you paid $2, which may have been a lot of money in the 30s and 40s, to sit at a table. But otherwise, musicians could come in and have something to eat.
Isn't that something?
And so the spirit of the place, for me, even though it's a very upscale restaurant and it's attracting a different crowd, they're reinstituting the jam session idea on Friday nights.
Around what time?
At midnight.
At midnight. After your set.
After the set.
Oh, that's great.
And so people should come by, I hope, and take part. It's a very young band. It's the young band. I won't mention any names, but it was a lesson for me. And I usually stay to sit in, but I couldn't do that last night because I had this.
Here, that's right. Bless your heart. I was thinking about you first thing this morning at 4 o'clock this morning. How we were all going to get together, and how we're going to do this again. Okay. All right. We're going to do this again for sure, because we've got so much to talk about.
I know.
Oh, yeah. I can say in 64, when I first came, I came and I saw Men before it closed down, and Kenny Durham was doing the jam sessions there, and I remember seeing Richard Davis for the first time, and Roy Haynes and all those guys. They were on the road with Sarah Vaughan, I think, something like that.
My goodness.
And I saw Birdland before it closed. In the 64, I saw Coltrane at Birdland. Bill Cosby had just started, his comedian act. He was, just getting started.
And he was at Birdland?
Yeah.
Because I know you love the music. We were talking about Bill Cosby, too.
He was doing his, he was doing his stuff there. And I saw Bud Powell there, and I saw Cannonball.
At
Birdland before it closed.
It closed, the original Birdland.
Yeah, with Pee Wee Marcus outside. And
Right.
Oh man, he even stayed after the original Birdland. He stayed there a long time.
Really
Pee Wee Marcus. Yeah.
Quite an attraction, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Wasn't that something?
And there was a place called Ham and Eggs right on the corner. that all the musicians used to come after gigs, and you see the guys coming in their dark suits, and there was a place across the street called the Alvin Hotel.
All right.
Oh man,
and
all
a lot of musicians live there.
Yes. and around the corner on they called it the Bryant Hotel, and all these different hotels. That was another hotel that the musicians lived in.
They lived there.
Lee Morgan lived in there, and a lot of different guys. They come through town. It was just such a beautiful time.
So they say that the guys went uptown to Minton's to really hone their craft, and then they came down to the street, which it became known as 52nd Street, to work. And work on what they had worked out at Minton's.
Oh, look at that.
So
isn't that something?
That might be something.
What is that? Billy Taylor was playing at the Hickory House, I think it was. It was the Hickory House right there on 52nd Street. And then a few of the places were still open, Jimmy Rhymes and all those places on 52nd. And I realized that 52nd was going like to the east instead of going to the west. It's like if you got 7th Avenue, you went 52nd to 6th Avenue, and like that direction, what 52nd was. You remember what Jimmy Rhymes was? And then at one time there was the half note was on 52nd Street there for a minute. So all those places were still kind of intact, and the buildings were still there. And so I was
and all that music coming out of there.
Oh man,
there was music on that street. I missed a lot of that.
I saw
nesting.
So I didn't hear him play, but I saw Earl Garner come in to hear Billy Taylor play at the History House. And I said, wow, these are all my heroes. I was so, from Mississippi coming up from Jackson, these were the guys it was my heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And Nelson walks in.
Yes.
Boy. Okay, so we're going to look at your schedules and see what's going to be another good time to continue this conversation in the Gardens of Tranquility and Contemplation. But Nelson, come and join us while we got an homage to Sun Ra. This is Bertha Hope and Dick Griffin.
Yeah. How you doing, Nelson? Nice to meet you.
And number 3 microphone is up, my dear. It's up. Yep, absolutely. Yes, indeed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
She makes me jump on cold water just like that.
I'm so sorry, and I'm sorry, caller.
But it's a pleasure to be here. Always enjoying the bridge that we have from the gardens and the light to the essence and the rhythm.
Yes. That's right. We do the bridge because you got the best Latin jazz show in the world. And here, that's my little slogan for your show. But we've had such a wonderful conversation, and we just visited 52nd Street with all of the great history of music that came out of that street. You know.
Wait a second. Back to the Palladium and back to the La Conga Club, where they have all those.
That's it.
Birdland.
Birdland. Oh wow.
Definitely. Yeah. Yes, indeed. And ham and eggs on the corner.
Yeah, right.
That was a club. There was a cafe. The restaurant called Ham and Eggs.
Yeah, kept fuel for the wonderful
right on the corner of 52nd and 52nd and 7th Avenue. There's a little cafe, called Ham and Eggs. That was the name of it. It was Ham and Eggs.
It's much different now. Yeah, definitely.
It's still there. The space is still there.
But now we get a chance to bring a little bit of that sensibility here in the Gardens of Tranquility and Contemplation and Essence and Rhythm.
And it seems like this conversation got cut short, so maybe you can catch up some other time.
We can.
Yeah. If it's okay with you, Bertha and Dick, it's all right with me.
It's all right with me, too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
How beautiful.
Beautiful.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.